Yeah, let's talk about the Meta smart glasses. I had an opportunity to test drive the new heads-up display smart glasses powered by the AI, the Llama series, and I have some first impressions I want to talk about. So I checked out these glasses, and my first impression was that they looked a little bit funny, a little comical. They look like those joke glasses that you wear with a fake nose and a mustache. It's not a good thing. Very plastic looking and very plastic feeling. Um, I found it interesting that they talked a big game about how the engineering challenge was them to dissipate heat from the glasses, and that's why they used magnesium. And now in these glasses, they used plastic. Heck of a lot of plastic. Um, doesn't feel like a premium luxury device. Even though the glasses are plastic, they're still front heavy. It's okay. I wore the glasses for an hour, and I think that I think I could wear them for as long as I want. But, if you tilt your head down, you definitely get that weight on the glasses. And the problem with that is that you're trying to make them comfortable when you're wearing them. And so you don't want them to be super tight. I wore the large ones. And then they would kind of slide down. You have to do the glasses move where you have to push it up from the center or grab the side and tilt it back up. That was my experience. I did that a few times. So that's the first impressions. First impression, they turn it on, I turn it on. The display blasts my eye, completely blaring bright. And I'm like, whoa, but okay. Like I didn't flinch or say, hey, it's too bright or anything like that, because I'm like, I don't know what to expect. I don't know what I'm experiencing. But now I know the whole deal. So after a little while, we go in through the settings, and I turn the brightness down. Everything is great. He says it has automatic brightness, but I put it on manually, and it seemed to stay where it was. The lighting was pretty consistent where I was. So that was that. Now, getting right to it, you obviously get the glasses and they have to boot. Takes a while for them to boot up and start. You don't see anything until they boot, interestingly enough. If you contrast this with the Meta Quest 3, the Meta Quest fires up instantly and shows you a logo like it's loading. That's what I expected. But no, these glasses stay dormant until they're like basically ready to go, and then the display shows up and shows you. I think they could have done a initial. I mean, if you think about the device powering on power on, maybe some little light could go on for a second or something to indicate that it's firing up. There's no sound based on what I remember. There was no startup sound. I would like to be able to have a ping to know that the system is going. Instead, you're waiting, and then the display just shows up, and it's like Ask Meta, Ask AI, right? I found it interesting, but also slightly unrefined. Continuing on. So I thought they were gonna get right to the AI. But the interesting thing is the demo it was I didn't get to the Meta AI until the tail end of it. I'll talk about that. But I didn't use voice commands, so they were big on the neural band, and so we got this thing set up a little tight, sat a little high, worked very good, not perfect, of course, like you'd expect. Some of it is your movements, some of it is it doesn't detect sometimes. It just doesn't. And so the reality is that it's good enough. Now, trust me, when I tried it, you get it right. It's like kind of grabbing a joystick or a controller for a game console. Once you're holding it and pressing the buttons, you're good. But if you're out of alignment, you're not maybe lined up on the buttons and something like that, right? So that was my experience. I feel like it's promising and usable, but not perfect. Um, so, so we went through all these settings, and then we jumped into some utility stuff, and I test drove the captions where I talk to the person and hit whatever the person I'm talking to says shows up on screen. They also had translator with many different languages, so it auto translates. Worked good, but there's a delay, and so that's fine. And the band itself, it's kind of a procedure. You have to line it up right, but it's fairly decent and easy. Kind of magnetic. Throw it on, boom, stays on. No fussing with it. So what can I say about the band? It's not heavy. I didn't really think about it being on my wrist, and that little locking. I guess there's like a little metal latch that like kind of clamps down, and it holds the band in place. So it's a good design. Doesn't slip or stretch. Um, what was the bad thing about the neural band? It trapped in a lot of heat. And after half an hour, it was like kind of like the sweat builds up like a watch that has a non-breathing band. So that was tiny bit disappointing. Still, it works so good that you're like, who cares? Doesn't matter. The fact that you can do the double tap on your middle finger, or the single tap or single tap on the first finger to select and go back. You can hit the middle finger one time and all this kind of stuff. You can hide the display with 2 taps and show it at any time. Very well done. The screen display rides low, and even though you see pictures and you see the display low, I'm kind of telling you the way I use it. I got this feeling like I'm looking at objects and I'm looking at people, and the display is kind of sitting below that for whatever that's worth. Um, there was some tricks. Occasionally I would close my the eye that is not looking at the display to kind of focus up and focus fast, and kind of like read things really quick and easy, without like there is a bit of a focusing dance or game you do, because when you look at the screen, it's like you're looking at something very close to you, so you kind of look down and at it, the display, and then you look at other stuff and other people, you kind of look up and away at a farther away. So there is this thing that you very much have two different focal lengths, interestingly. But what could I say about the display? It can get very bright, but it always seemed to be easy to read. So it was bright enough even during the day and in a bright store and all that stuff. It could go extremely bright, brighter than it needs to go. So they did a good job on that. And I guess that was probably their primary concern in terms of, the display. They wanted it to be over engineered of sort. And so that works. That's good. Um, I didn't touch anything on the glasses to select or use menus or anything like that. I didn't use voice commands. The one I did was Hey Meta, and that was toward the tail end. They wanted me to do everything with the neural band, which is interesting. But I did know that that's their navigation controller thing, and that it was going to be driven like that. And so the whole thing is like, I think they're trying to. So I'm getting the impression that they didn't want you to think, hey, this is just another pair of smart glasses. Every pair of smart glasses, you're going to be saying commands and talking to it. But this one, you have the neural band, and you can control everything with privacy and quietness. Nobody knows what you're doing. Um, you have your hands idle and low, and out of sight often, and you could basically control a computer with a few finger taps, basically like that. You know. So it was impressive. Do I get the feeling that it's worth, $7.99 plus tax? No. Where does it lack the processing power just kind of a small screen on the eye area. It's not owning the space, meaning you can't just display anything anywhere in the eye, in the right eye. It's only one eye. It's not two. I mean, that's okay. It's technically that could be okay, especially for being the first version. It works and it's usable, but it doesn't feel ultra premium and ultra luxe. It doesn't feel like it's worth $1,000. But it's like nobody else is on the market, so they kind of have a monopoly on having smart glasses that are here now, and you could actually buy it, and they have them in stock. And I could have taken one home. So there is a lot to be said about that. I am kind of staying in the lane of like kind of like saying this is a real product that I'm reviewing. This is not a product that I got to have an early test on. But the thing is that some of the functionality felt like an early test. And so that's where they're going to have pretty strong competition. There's a lot of ways to muscle in and cut in on the smart glasses territory. I thought the AI was just fine. You would ask for stuff, it would search stuff, it shows you on the screen. I thought the apps were okay. The ecosystem is kind of like set. Whatever apps they have, you can use. It's all the usual suspects. My first impression, which I didn't fail to say earlier, the audio was very good when I heard the music. Sounded really nice, good quality, good audio level. It was like magic because you're hearing music as if it's in the environment, or a speaker somewhere out there is playing music, but it's actually coming from your glasses. So I will say they did a very, very good job on that. There are some things that are extremely well done, and the fact that I didn't mention it at all, it's because it's so good that it's done. Let's talk about the other stuff, right? Let's talk about stuff that stands out, stuff that's weakness. So that's interesting. So that's the whole overview of the glasses. We did demo the camera, pictures, and video, which you have the ability to see the pictures and video as you're recording it. They put all this emphasis and they train you so that you can, review this stuff. And I guess you could kind of have the camera going on with that, so you kind of have like an overlay effect and stuff like that. So I mean, it's pretty cool. It's inventive. It's thoughtful. It's good. They did some update to expand the functionality. Um, there is no app store. So there are some limitations. You can't just get anything and everything. Um, I guess they want people to develop apps for the smart glasses, and I'm sure they will. But it's really early on. So whatever it is they have is there. But anyway, that's pretty much the whole thing that I have to say that stands out. I felt it was a little bulky, a little front heavy. It was okay, wearable. Um, my gripe about all these smart glasses is that they look like regular glasses. I like sporty style, Oakley, more like wider and smoother, kind of so to speak, curved. The one compliment I would give the glasses is that because the glasses are a traditional um, large lens, squared up, it actually opens up the vision. And so the vision looking out through the glasses is very good and very low in being encumbered. So you have a clear view of your forward, and it doesn't feel like these frames are kind of claustrophobic effect on you. So I will give them credit. It is well thought out in terms of you optically kind of interacting with other people with stuff that you're working on, and then you have this kind of bonus of having a screen in the display. And so the trade-off and downside of that is that the glasses just look like regular old glasses. They were just this piano black, and I don't even know. Even the piano black is to me is old. Like I would have liked a matte black. I thought it would feel like a higher tech item. Um, so a lot of mixed feelings on design and direction. Um, some hits and some misses. that's it. Hope you enjoyed that. Hit like, subscribe, throw a comment. If you're looking forward to these or whatever, would be, what would you like to see on smart glasses? I'd love to hear it. We'll catch you on the next video. Peace.